Raiders! Oakland, L.A., Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever! You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murf's Fan Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Kolesnikov, a leaping pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, time running down. Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
What is up, Raider Nation? It's your old buddy Murf back once again for another what we hope to be fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate everybody checking in with us for episode number 106, coming to you live from Murf's Fan Cave on the YouTubes as usual. See some names already hopping in the chat. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Ron is in there, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Raider Critique, Herman Munster, Jasmine Young, Raider Jobo, Mojo Cantrell, see him in there, Adam Hill, Raider Homer, Charles Frausto is in there, and so pretty cool that we got the chat already firing up. So thank you guys for joining us once again for another episode of Raiders Fan Radio. And that inhaler and that cough and that chuckle that you've heard, that disembodied chuckle, comes from the one and only Uncle Mosh, who adorns the southern annex of the Murf's Fan Cave studio desk. Welcome to the show, Uncle Mosh.
It's good to be here. Hang on a second. No, I wasn't. This is not a flashback to a misguided youth. That was me letting out the juice from the inhaler.
Now, Uncle Mosh, you were last week. We mentioned that you were playing injured, so you're still kind of on the path to recovery. So you got the NyQuil going.
I got. Did you download my song? The NyQuil
we can't
Blues?
play it because it's YouTube or not YouTube and iTunes.
Oh yeah.
It's copyright.
So I did. I had to break down. We don't partake the way we used to, but I discovered. You and I had a conversation last night. About a 40-minute conversation of exactly how much whiskey I put in that hot toddy.
Yes.
And
you put all of it.
I put all of it, and I went back to the liquor store 2 nights in a row.
Oh,
I
nice.
haven't been in that liquor store in 7 years. I was back 2 nights in a row, and the guy goes, "You want the same as you had last night?" And I'm like, "Wait, that didn't take long."
Yeah.
But so. I went and got the steroid shot in the butt, and I got the inhaler, and I got the NyQuil, and they told me, they go, "Okay, so you're about 6 days into it. The worst are days 7 and 8." And I said, "Oh, thanks. I got a show to do tomorrow."
Oh my gosh. Well,
I'll be hacking and whacking and spitting and coughing and puking and like normal.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you checking in and hanging in there, Mosh, and you got a servant's heart, Uncle Mosh. You're doing the Lord's work over there. We appreciate you. Appreciate you checking in. So Uncle Mosh, we have a special guest with us this week here in Murf's Fan Cave. And so for the first time ever, we actually have an in-studio guest. Now, we've had numerous interviews over the years. We've had former Raiders. We've had current Raiders. We've had fans, lots of fans. We've had celebrities. We've had a lot of people in the fan cave, but none of them have ever actually joined us face-to-face here in the fan cave until this week, Uncle Mosh. And to boot, that guest is not even a fan of this team. He's a fan of that other team, that black and yellow team that our team is playing this week. Uncle Mosh, what do you tell me? Quick thought, real quick, before I introduce our guest.
We got to know this guy. we've been civil to this guy because for a couple of reasons. Number one, we go to church with him. You know, we and on Sundays we got to be friendly.
We got to be friendly on Sunday.
And then we both coached his kid. You know, so you know we can't hate on him too much that way. And his wife's one hell of a cook. So the guy has some good things going on in his life. It's just that his fandom sucks. You know, but he's still a bro.
He's still a bro.
He's still a bro.
All right, so let's get to the formalities. So welcome to the show. A man who is his skill and talent as a busy touring musician is matched only by his long list of recording credits and the work that he has done with a multitude of artists over varying genres. So we're talking about the legendary John Waite. We're talking about the James Brown Horns, John Mellencamp, Les Dudek, the Disco Biscuits, Boz Scaggs, Winona Judd, Travis Tritt, Joe Diffie, Doug Stone, Tanya Tucker, Rebecca Lynn Howard. The list goes on and on. Pam Tillis, Connie Smith, and of course the legendary Oak Ridge Boys. This guy is a highly touted musician. He's a drummer. He was voted number 2 drummer and number 2 clinician of the year in the prestigious Modern Drummer Readers Poll. And so he joins us here at Murf's Fan Cave. Welcome to the show, David Northrup. Welcome, David.
Good to be here, gents. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. You know, we've talked about having you on the show a few times, and so here it is Raiders Steelers week, and we figured no better time than now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know,
talked about being civil on Sundays. We were civil at least before the game.
Yeah. Exactly.
Civil during church hours. Yeah.
So, David, real quick before we get going, we always honor a something that has to do with the Raiders on our show in terms of the number of our show. So this week we're doing episode number 106, and so to honor episode number 106, we're gonna tie that to a yardage distance. Like we'll tie it to say a number, like you're wearing a Palomalo jersey, so like episode 43, right?
Right on.
Right. So I'm gonna tie it this week's episode number 106 to a yardage total, which is 106 yards. David, where were you on October 27th, 2013?
I have no idea.
I do.
Where was I?
On my couch.
Oh, was I?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And do you remember what happened that day?
I'm sure that the Steelers lost because every time I've come to this home to watch the Steelers play any game, we lose.
You do.
So I don't make a lot of effort to come here to watch Steelers games anymore. Just some sort of sick consistency of loss when I come over here.
So on that day, Terrell Pryor, then our quarterback, ran 93 yards on the first play from scrimmage and was the longest touchdown run by a quarterback. And the Oakland Raiders won by following a bye week for the first time since 2002. That day, we beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 21-18. And on that day, David, Terrell Pryor finished with 9 carries and 106 yards along with that touchdown. So we want to celebrate Terrell Pryor.
And
here.
You would know that.
Well, yeah.
Of course you would.
Well, and I just thought you had such a fun time over here that day watching the Raiders beat the Steelers. I just figured I would bring that up.
Well, yeah, that's great. I'm speechless. Nice.
And now for something completely different.
All right. It's time. Knock it off, you two.
Okay.
We'll save this for later, but we need to set some parameters here. And I think, there can only be so many top dogs in the room. So, Murf.
Yes.
It's a little known fact here, and David Northrup might not know this, but you're quite the accomplished percussionist yourself.
I've been known to drum a little bit, Uncle Mosh.
You can bang the skins with the best of them.
I can, and I can play the drums too.
And this is a family show. Man, when do we need a rim shot?
Right now.
Yeah. So I think to settle this and to just go ahead and just set things right.
Okay.
I think we ought to have a little drum off.
A drum off?
A drum off.
Is this like a what am I trying to say? A traditional drum off or like a Tennessee death match or what?
I think it's not in a cage.
Okay, all right.
The fan cave isn't big enough.
All right.
But let me check with you. Put you on hold for a second. Talk to our guest,
all right.
Mr. Northrup. Would you be interested in a small little drum off?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Since Murf, since you are the host, and you don't get paid to do this, and he does, I think you need to. I think you need to go first. And I think what we'll do is we'll make a decision based on your skills, your volume, your creativity, and we'll see just who the better drummer is.
All right, so I'm going first.
You go first, and I'll call it live.
Okay, all right. Here we go. Let's do the drum off.
Okay, so Murf, as he dismounts his directors, producers, writer, and or the big kahuna in the fan cave, approaches the drum set. He's doing a little test. He got a little test. Murf, it's a little known fact, but Murf drums with both feet and both hands. Ready? On you, Murf.
All right, here we go. And 1, 2, 3.
Oh! Unbelievable. Drop the mic,
That
Murf.
was impressive.
Let's see if
That Northrup.
all
right,
you can't hear him, but Murf screamed, top that, Northrup.
All right,
he who makes a living doing this.
I'll give it a shot.
All right, so as the visitor approaches the drum set, and remember what Murf just played. It was amazing. Okay, he started with a 1, 2, 3, and then he hit them all. He hit all the drums.
I hit all of them. I hit all of
the
them.
cymbals. He had his feet working. All right, here we go. You're up on you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Doesn't look good for Dave.
I've got it. I've got him.
Well, I can't play that exact thing. I could play something like maybe.
Not too bad.
All right.
All right. So
I think, Uncle Mosh, we have a clear-cut winner.
I think we have, and a little bit of applause for our clear-cut winner.
Yay.
And I just want to say right now, I want to say thank you, Dave. We
Sure.
appreciate you coming out and doing that. And I'm sorry that you had to lose the first ever
Yep.
Raiders fan.
Better luck
radio.
next time, Dave.
Yeah,
Maybe
That's
next
okay.
time.
It's sort of appropriate. I mean, 3 Super Bowl victories to 6.
All
Super Bowl
right,
victories.
that's enough. And we've got it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
let's-
Can you
let's
turn
come-
his camera
I think
off?
I can
There we go.
turn his mic down for
Oh
sure.
no, I'm sorry.
Anyways, we jested, but appreciate you joining us here.
My pleasure.
on the
Thank you
show.
for having me.
Absolutely.
That was amazing, and we can't do it justice. We don't have the mic set up for it, but Dave is a phenomenal drummer, and,
Yes.
I've showed his stuff on the YouTube to my kids at school. I've got a lot of musicians here, and we're a bedroom community to Nashville. Nashville's Music City, USA, and we have, we were talking earlier, you can't sling a cat in this town without hitting somebody that plays for somebody, and Dave's one of the best around here. So how can our fans see more of his stuff?
Yeah, so you've got a new CD coming up, right? You got a solo project,
I do,
and,
yeah.
and you've done a lot in your career, Dave. You've
I have. I've been real
tell
blessed.
us a little bit about what you got going on and what you've done, man. Give us the highlights.
Cool. Well, last year I toured with Boss Skaggs all year. That was a huge highlight so far in my career, having been a huge Boss Skaggs fan from as long as I can remember. back in the day growing up. Currently doing some work with a 80s country artist named T. Graham Brown. Fantastic vocalist, great artist. Had a bunch of hits in the 80s. Also almost finished with my first solo project. It's an album coming out. It's an instrumental jazz fusion record called Shapes. All the tracks are complete for that. Recording right now. I'm just a matter of getting it mixed and printed up. I'm hoping early spring.
Cool.
Release date, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's been really exciting. Yeah. That's probably the biggest focus right now. Yeah, I've been really fortunate, been blessed. I got my first really big gig with Travis Tritt in 2000. I moved here in 1995 from Central Florida. Landed a gig with Travis Tritt and did that for a while. And have just been fortunate to bounce around to, different country artist gigs, and it's been good. It's been a heck of a ride. I've been blessed, very fortunate.
So you were telling us before the show started, and just to let you guys know here in the chat, joining us, we're gonna get into a lot of the Raiders-Steelers rivalry. That's one of the reasons we wanted to talk to Dave is really talk about this. But we definitely want to hear a little bit about your fandom, though. Even though this is Raiders fan radio and you're a Steelers fan, but we do want to hear about your fandom. You're telling us a cool story about you got a chance. You played the Tonight Show and you met Jerome Bettis. So tell us about that.
So this was it's got to be about 2003. Travis had a single out called "What Say You." With John Cougar Mellencamp. So John and Travis had this duet, and it was sort of a political song. So we had the opportunity to go play the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and it was Travis Tritt, of course, and John Cougar Mellencamp. And I remember it because it was sort of a big deal. Senator Fred Thompson announced his run for the presidency
from Tennessee. Senator Fred Thompson.
Yes, from Tennessee on that episode, and Jerome Bettis was also on the episode promoting his a new biography that he was autobiography that he had just released. So I was really extremely excited to. Well, first it was the first time I had ever been on Jay Leno, and Jerome Bettis was going to be on. So I was like, holy cow, this is incredible. So my wife, being the awesome woman that she is, she bought me a Jerome Bettis football jersey and had it sent to our hotel in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, the jersey didn't arrive in time. I was actually going to wear it on the show. Well, I was hoping to be able to wear it on the show. I would have had to have cleared that with Travis. And had I wore it, I probably would have got more camera time than he got. So it was probably it might have been a job security thing.
Right.
God looking out for me saying, nah, you don't want to wear that. So anyways, had a chance to meet Jerome Bettis backstage, got a picture with him. It was really super cool. And the guy was huge. He was just so wide. I couldn't believe. And the cool thing was, like, backstage, I remember him, I got a Steelers T-shirt on, and I'm waiting for him to arrive. And he finally gets there, and there's, like, this long hallway in the back. And I'm like, oh, here he is. He's starting to walk down the hall. And he could see me with the Steelers jersey, and he pointed at me while he was walking down the hall. Nice. Yeah, so he gave me a high five. And this was before cell phones, so it's 2003. Or not before cameras on cell phones.
Right. Okay.
I still had a flip phone. So I had a camera with me, of course, and I had to talk to the producer of Jay Leno to say, hey, man, is it cool if I get a picture with him? And they were like, yeah, you got to be cool. Wait till he does all the things he has to do. And after his segment, we could probably snap a photo with you real quick. So I was able to do that, and he was real cool about it. But yeah, that was a super highlight,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I remember you sharing a story with me. Get one more, if you don't mind. Tell me the story about when you played. Didn't you play a halftime show or something? They had the Steelers like for Cincinnati or something, and you were wearing your Steelers gear.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. A good friend of mine, Austin Cucarudo, who actually is the drummer with the Oak Ridge Boys now, went to high school with one of the Cincinnati Bengals. So he got us tickets to go see a Monday Night Football game, and of course, I wore my Steelers stuff, and I'm sitting in like the fan section with all the Cincinnati Bengals people, and I'm the only one with Steelers stuff on.
Nice.
And they were cool. They embraced me. They were like, "Yeah, man, good for you. I mean, if you're brave enough to wear it, sure, we'll have respect for you. We're going to beat the crap out of you after the game." So that was pretty cool. I've gone to like two Monday Night Football games. The last Monday Night Football game I went to. Ken Anderson actually got me tickets.
Wow!
Yeah,
former Bengals quarterback Ken Anderson.
Former Bengals quarterback Ken Anderson, who actually coached, was the quarterback coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if you guys realize that. The last he retired in 2000 with Jerome Bettis after they won the Super Bowl that they played.
Right.
I think it was the Seahawks that they played in Detroit, but. I was playing a show up there, a Monday Night Football show promotional thing with an artist from Tennessee, and it was to benefit one of his causes. I can't remember what it was, but the artist I was playing for, a guy named D. Vincent Williams, let him know that I was a huge Steelers fan. So he made arrangements not with the Bengals, but with the Steelers to get me a ticket. And I was like third row, 50-yard line. I mean, I could actually almost grab Palomalo. I was so close. It was so cool.
You just want to touch his hair, huh?
Yeah, and of course, I wore all my Steelers stuff. But when I performed, respectfully, I took it off when I was on his stage.
Sure.
Right.
Ken Anderson's stage.
Yeah.
But he had this really cool story. He was so his son and his family, they all lived in Cincinnati. They continued to live in Cincinnati, and he lived up in Pittsburgh during the years when he was coaching. And they were all just diehard Cincinnati fans, but to support Dad, they were they followed him,
cool.
and they were Steelers fans. So he was he told me the story about after they won the Super Bowl in Detroit. They're walking downtown, and he's walking with his son, who I don't know how old his son was, but his son is decked out in a Steelers leather jacket and a Steelers jersey and a scarf and a hat, and they're walking down the street, and his son said, "Dad, I'm really proud for you. Great accomplishment." And he goes, "Well, I just want to let you know." Ken says this to his son. He goes, "I'm retired now. You no longer have to be a Steelers fan." So his son walks into a bar, takes his hat off, takes his leather jacket off, takes his scarf, takes his jersey off, and just gives it to like strangers. And he's walking down the street of Detroit without a coat, without a shirt on. He was like, "Oh my God, I've been freed of this black and yellow." Yeah, and of course, the way he told the story, it was just hilarious. But it was fantastic.
Awesome.
I was like, "Wow, that's so cool." It's like, man, you got some really dedicated family members to actually follow you to play, to be a fan for the Steelers when they're diehard Cincinnati fans.
Dave, you're getting some great love from our fans. And our capo says,
tell them about the chat. So that's Aaron the Q-Dog Raiders in our chat room.
Our capo Q-Dog says, "Man, I can't stand it. I like this Northrup dude." And and there's a bunch of them that are talking about, "Man, Boss Gags, this guy's for real, man. He's legit." Fact, and then Raider Critique says, "Fact is, jazz is one of the hardest musics to play." So our fans are recognizing your skills, man, and they appreciate you.
Thank you for your embracing me, folks.
Yeah, absolutely. A Steeler fan on Raiders Fan Radio. We're breaking barriers here.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I know.
So anyway, they're glad to have you. We're glad to have you.
Absolutely. Anything before we kind of kick it off? Any website we can send folks to check your stuff out?
Well, DavidNorthrup.com is under construction right now, just with the new album coming out. So we're revamping that. I have a YouTube page, just David Northrup. If you can't find David Northrup, take David Northrup Drums. I've got a lot of cool videos. I've actually, touring with Boss Gags last year. Some touring stuff with the Oak Ridge Boys and a bunch of pro shot stuff, actual DVD footage from touring with Travis Tritt. There's a bunch of stuff there. Got a Facebook page, David Northrup Drums. If you go to that and like that, that would be marvelous.
All right.
And that's the best way to kind of keep up with me on stuff that I have going on. I'm on, other social media things, but I don't.
It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. It gets so many.
It's
man.
just Facebook for me and my personal website once that comes out.
All right, good deal. We'll definitely support him, Raider Nation. Check out David Northrup Drums on Facebook, and thank you again.
Yeah.
And you're going to sit in with us for the show.
Heck
you're gonna sit in. All right,
you guys are going to pummel me with all your statistics, but the thing I'm going to always remind you of is 6.
All right,
Super Bowl.
Here he goes.
We're working.
See, we were trying to play nice, Dave.
We're trying to fill the second hand, guys.
Oh my! All right, here he goes. Have at him, chat room.
Hey, I got something for you to put in your second hand, pal.
Hey!
Whoa! Boom.
All right, Uncle Mosh, you want to hit us with a drop there, Mosh, and then we'll get started.
Yeah, this is another guy that's musically inclined that I happen to like. Tell me what you think.
Hey everybody, this is Johnny Spencer from the punk rock band Stringer, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio with Murf and Uncle Mosh. Go Raiders, baby.
All right, Uncle Mosh and Dave. Yes. We're here on Raiders Fan Radio. We always like to, Dave, we like to give respect. We don't do shout-outs. We don't do props. We like to give respect to...
we give a little respect.
You know what I mean? We give respect. So you're a New York guy. You know how respect...
Hey, forget about it.
There you go. So we like to give respect. So a couple guys we want to give respect to. Number one, I'm not going to play the audio, but there is one of the hosts of Good Morning Football, Kyle Brandt, occasionally goes on a rant about different teams, and this week he did one about the Raiders, and so I would definitely like to give him respect for doing that on national TV. But more importantly, I want to cover number 45 right behind me. The Raiders have a really cool tradition where they bring back a former player or somebody that's significant in the organization to light the torch, to light the flame that represents Al Davis. The flame that burns brightest is the Raiders' will to win, Dave, and so they always bring back somebody of significance to light that. Well, this week was Marcel Reese. So Marcel Reese was there to light the torch for the game against the Chiefs, and so we got a little audio clip to play for you. How to do that.
It's an amazing December day. We got the sun out here. It's a perfect day for football. I brought my beautiful wife out here, my son Merrick here, and my daughter as well. Just my family, my inner circle, just here to enjoy the day with me and share this in this special time.
He played for the Silver and Black for 8 seasons. He's here today to light the torch in memory of and tribute to Al Davis, who declared that the fire that burns brightest in the Raider organization is the will to win. Raider Nation, please welcome home number 45, Marcel Reese.
I can't really put it into words. Raider Nation is second to none. They know they have a special place in my heart, and I'm forever grateful to them.
All right, there we go. Marcel Reese, he was referred to as a fan favorite, and he's definitely a favorite of ours. We had just a couple years ago, Dave, this autographed jersey that's behind me. He signed that in person. Mosh and I went down to the field during warm-ups during a Titans-Raiders game, and I was wearing that jersey. I hadn't planned on getting it signed or anything. I just had it on, and he came over to where we were, and he said, "Let me get that jersey." And so there was a kid next to me that I had to elbow out of the way and steal his Sharpie. No, I'm kidding. But
you wheeled him.
Yeah.
He was in a motorized chair.
All right, Heidi game. No, I did. I asked this kid if I could borrow his Sharpie, and he gave me Sharpie. And so Marcel signed that right there on the field. And so
that's
pretty
awesome.
Cool. And not to mention, he was just a great Raider, great representative of the Raiders, famous for wearing the Al shirt after Al Davis passed away, and he was wearing that shirt when he lit the torch for Al Davis this past week. So pretty cool. So we definitely give respect to Marcel Reese. One more, Mosh, I would like to give respect to is that, right now things aren't going well for us in terms of the win-loss column, right? We have a lot of things to be excited about in terms of Raider Nation, but things are tough, right?
I'll give you that. Things are tough.
Things are tough. And so there's a lot of criticism out there Dave, I don't know what do you call, it's not Steeler Nation. We're not going to refer to them as that, but what do you call the fan base? Steelerville? Steeler people?
Steeler Nation.
The Steeler. No.
The
Pittsburghs.
The Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. There's no T in it, just piss.
Piss?
It's like a frozen block of urine kind of a thing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
You never heard that before, really?
Like the poop emoji.
Yeah.
The piss block.
The Pittsburgh, yeah. Yeah, so.
Pittsburgh.
The Pittsburgh. Well, because there's only one nation. That's Raider Nation, Dave. So we won't do Steeler Nation. We'll just call the Squealers. What do you want to do, Mosh? How do we refer to them?
You know, those people.
The people. All right.
I just call them those people.
Well, I don't know what those people are like, Dave, but Raider Nation is very vocal in terms of their criticism of the team at times. And there's been a lot of criticism going on. There's criticism of our owner. There's criticism of the coach. It's kind of top to bottom.
Well, if I can say with a 2-10 record, I think
it's 9, Dave.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2-10.
Who invited them? Who's the new guy?
Well, I'll explain. The problem is that he's a musician.
No.
He only counts to 8.
I'm looking here on my app here. With the Steelers.
Are we 2-10? I guess that's right because you count the Raider or the Chiefs game.
Yeah,
we're not talking about that game.
Oh, I see. We hadn't got to that game. Talk about that game. It doesn't count. It doesn't count until we talk about it, David.
Us Pittsburgh guys, we're not good at math, but I'm just looking at my Pittsburgh Steeler app, and it's telling me
They have an app?
Yeah, we do. We're high tech, baby.
Oh my God! Well, hey, like we always say, we love numbers, but we hate math. So whatever, 2 and 9 and is.
Hey, what's the difference at this point?
Well,
you know,
all right,
just keep losing for the draft.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
We have all the first round picks already.
Yeah, we already got them all. All right. So anyway, the point of this segment is that it's easy to pile on, right? And there are tons of people that have piled on the Raiders this year. Well, there's one guy that hasn't, and we trust a handful of media outlets, Uncle Mosh, and one of those guys that we trust is Jerry McDonald of the San Jose Mercury News, and he had a tweet this week he put out, and he said, you know what? It's easy to pile on. It's easy to pick on the Raiders. What's hard to do is to dig into it and actually look for some things to be positive about and to try to at least understand what the Raiders are trying to do. And so he's got a great article here. It's in the Mercury News. And basically, he just goes through and lists 5 things, and that the Raiders are doing well. So one of those is that we're better than the 49ers, right? We can all.
Well, there you go.
And it's a step in the right direction,
sure,
right? The Carr-Gruden partnership is working. That's something actually that's gone very well, is that Gruden and Carr are working well together. As you know, with Tomlin and Roethlisberger, right? It's kind of important for your coach and quarterback to be on the same page.
Absolutely.
And, and whether it's Brady and Belichick or whoever, it's a big deal. And so far, Carr and Gruden, the partnership is working.
On the same page.
The offensive line's starting to come around, Mosh.
That's right. We love our guys, man. We love our line.
We love our line. They're looking better. And then the last one here, and I think I've only got the first 4. But anyways, the practice habits are being established. And he kind of talked about the idea of the tone is being set. You referred to it early on when Gruden came in that they're not only rebuilding essentially. It's not so much a rebuild of personnel because a lot of the personnel, oddly enough, has remained the same. But it's kind of the overall. It's the
culture.
It's a cultural rebuild is what they're doing.
Sure.
He's kind of remaking everything from the front office to the locker room, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it trickles down from the top. It has to start. It has to start with the leadership. You've got to have good leadership. You've got to have good men in control. You got to have people that are in the top, at the top, that know what they're doing, and then they're going to build around that. Just a quick note for Mr. Northrup.
Yeah.
Capo Q-Dog.
Yeah.
He says he lives up there. It's Steeler country.
Steeler country.
There you go.
Yeah.
Steeler country. All right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
okay.
what we'll refer to your fans because you're not Steeler Nation, so you'll be Steeler country.
Steeler country.
Yeah. Because
how could I have not known that?
I don't know.
I'm a
because you don't live in Steeler country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, we got some more respect to go, right?
Yeah. So that's going to be the last one. I wanted to close out with Jerry, and let me read you one last thing here before you hit the button, though, Mosh. At the end of this article, Jerry says, Raider fans amaze me. I've long believed there isn't nearly as many of them. Yeah, I see. I already mentioned that, and I said we weren't going to play the audio guy. Look, let me get the wide shot here.
Do that again, Dave.
Go ahead. This is what happens when.
Did you say Romania?
I'll see you Romania, and I'll raise you a
Romania.
U.S. and a Mexico.
Okay, I forgot Romania. All right, but I'll get to Romania. Let me finish my thought here.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
Should I not
Thank you.
swear?
No.
I was going to swear.
Now he's gonna.
No.
Not only has he infiltrated the fan cave with that Steeler garb, now he wants an associate producer credit as well. Yeah. All right.
Next thing he's gonna want is to play with my soundboard.
Yeah, don't touch Uncle
my
Mosh's
gosh,
soundboard.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, Jerry says, Raider fans amaze me. I've long believed there isn't nearly as many of them locally or globally as the organization would have you believe. But when the Raiders kick off for home games, I look into the stands and I think this is the week that people are going to stop showing up. And while there are some empty seats, the support is much more than the organization deserves, considering the product on the field and the fact they're heading out of town sooner or later. If they're not staying away in droves at 2-10, the Raiders can count on support over the last 4 games this season and next season, barring an early departure. Maybe they'll even have something to cheer about before the Raiders leave town. So,
Woo!
Not
Strong,
bad.
strong
man.
words.
Good stuff from Jerry there. So definitely support. Look, we've rallied, or at least I have, against the mainstream media at times that report on the Raiders. This is not one of the guys that spreads misinformation. This guy does a great job of accurately reporting what goes on with the team, and so definitely support what Jerry McDonald is doing. All right, Uncle Mosh, you brought it up. Go ahead and give out the last bit of respect to the fabulous country of Romania and tell Raider Nation why.
And it has nothing to do with their lettuce. Okay? It's all been recalled, but,
I think that's Romaine.
We're not.
That's
never
Romaine.
mind.
Yeah. Romania, think Nadia Comaneci.
Yeah. Okay, so we are.
Yes.
We are. I get all that social media stuff mixed up, because now that I twit and I'm on the.
You're a Twitter. You're even in the chat room right now.
I'm in the chat room. I figured out how to do it and all that. But Dave, I don't know if you knew this or not, but we're not only American. We play to worldwide fans. We have fans in U.S., Mexico, Italy, Denmark, Philippines, Costa Rica.
Those are those are the ones we've charted in.
Those are the ones we've charted
charts.
in. And now we are number 3 in Romania.
In Romania.
You guys are serious.
There is only 2 other podcasts in all of Romania.
Yes.
That's incredible.
That's
Isn't
right.
that fun?
That is we can't say better because we've never listened to
No,
them.
they just have more people.
They got
Listen to
more
them.
people.
And I can say I knew you when.
You can
I know,
say,
right?
Yeah. That's pretty
amazing.
cool. So much respect to Romania.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
the people of Romania, that's pretty cool.
We
Huh?
had a listener in the chat room last week from Serbia. We are all about former Eastern Bloc countries.
There you go.
There you go, baby.
That's it, man. We're so excited about that.
That's great.
Okay. Hey, this one's for you, Dave.
You're listening to The Violator, and I'm live on Raider Fan Radio. Where you at, baby?
And I'll tell you the reason that I played that.
The Violator?
The Violator. I don't
In the
know.
Me Too movement?
And,
Oh, Dave. Come on. No,
Oh, my word.
That's Violator there.
Okay.
He's one of the legendary super fans of the Raiders. He's probably, easily, him and Gorilla Rilla are like 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Please, nobody else take offense to me saying that, because there are many, many wonderful Raiders super
That guy's
fans.
scary, man.
But he's one of the absolutely.
The Violator.
One of the best, yeah.
Well, Violator, if you're listening, I hope I didn't offend you by my little stupid comment.
Oh, he's listening, Dave.
Is he?
And we know your address, and we're gonna put it on the chat here.
Hey, I don't have a card like that. That's pretty awesome.
I know you need to get a card like that. Well, you got the hair for
I got the hair.
You got the hair working over there. Yeah, you got the look working for the super fan look. Dave showed up in his starter jacket and his pajamas. And for those of you that are listening to the show and don't see it here on the YouTube, Dave is wearing he's got spiked yellow hair.
I'll take my headphones off. You could really get the whole.
Oh my gosh! Look at this. So he's got his spiked yellow hair. He's got his
All I can think of
Palomalo
is
jersey.
Bosworth.
Yeah. And then he's got his pajamas on, his Steelers onesie underneath, and he's even got Steelers slipper. All right, that's about enough of that.
I got some problems.
All right, here we go. All right. So speaking of the Steelers, let's get into it. Let's get into what Raider Nation wants to hear, and they want to hear us talk about. And one of the big reasons, besides the fact that you're a friend of ours, we wanted to talk about the Raiders-Steelers rivalry and about the significance in sports of this rivalry. You know, there's a lot of vitriol, if you will, towards teams outside of our division, like the New England Patriots, for instance. Okay, and the Tuck rule is still a hot topic in Raider Nation, Dave. And aside from the teams in our division, Raider Nation seems to hate the Patriots most. Okay,
Well,
and the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I'm sure you hate the Patriots as
Absolutely.
well, right?
yeah, of course. I mean, we buy a ticket and stand in line, right?
Yeah,
Everyone
does, right?
Yeah, of course.
When you're the big,
But you have to appreciate the greatness of Tom Brady. So
Absolutely.
I enjoy whenever I could watch him play. I watch because he's brilliant. And that team is incredibly well coached. So it's being able to see it firsthand is going to be important in the history books.
Absolutely.
Someday. So you got to appreciate it. I can't stand the fact that they freaking win all the time. Especially when they play the Steelers.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like it's football at the highest level of excellence. So
very well put. And we agree. We've actually caught a lot of flack at times for even like last year of like we wanted to see the Patriots win because we wanted to see something we'd never seen before.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We wanted to see things happen in football that we hadn't seen in the past. And so, but anyway, so Raider Nation kind of some people took umbrage with that, and that's fair. We all got different opinions, but I'm glad to hear you say that because we kind of feel the same. If you're a fan of the sport and you're a fan of like the quarterback position and how it gets played, to see somebody like Brady or Rodgers or whatever, how can you not
It's just incredible, especially at 40 years old. It's like
exactly.
He just keeps getting better.
So aside from that though, so my point or one of my points through this thing with the Patriots was that. Don't misguide your hatred, Raider Nation. That there is a lot of teams to hate, right? Obviously,
sure.
There's a lot of teams to hate, especially in our division. But the
like the Ravens, come on, man.
Well,
they're not.
Well, for your division, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we hate the Ravens too because they broke Rich Gannon's shoulder and kept us out of a Super Bowl run one year. So, but. As far as the Patriots go, the Steelers deserve way more of our hatred than the Patriots do. And
mine.
They got Mosh's. And when you talk to old school Raider fans, they hate the Steelers much more than they ever hated the Patriots. And the reason why is that the Patriots kept us from winning one potential championship. The Steelers have kept us from winning many, many more than that. And when you look at the history of the teams, going back into the 70s, when we look in now these teams never played in the wild card round, and they didn't have the wild card for a long time anyways during this time. But in the divisional round of the playoffs, the Raiders and Steelers met 3 times. We played in 72, 73, and 83. And the Raiders won 2 of those 3 matchups. We won in 73, and then we also won in 83. And in 83, of course, was when we went on to win the Super Bowl as the then Los Angeles Raiders. Then you go to the AFC Championship game. Our teams played 3 times as well. We played in 74, we played in 75, and we played in 76. You want to talk about a heated rivalry? Our teams played in the AFC Championship game 3 years in a row, and only on the 3rd try did the Raiders win. So for the 2 times prior to that, the freaking Steelers beat us. So when we look at the actual chronology of it, 72, well, I don't do math, Dave, as you know, but I do numbers. 72, 73, 74, 75, and 76. 5 years straight, our teams met up in the 70s, and one of those teams, whoever won that game, won the Super Bowl. Now, you want to talk about a rival?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
right?
Big time. Old school right there.
Yeah, definitely old school. And it's funny because you talk to the old guys like me that lived through that horrendous era. We can name almost as many Steelers as we can Raiders.
Of course, Jack Lambert, Terry Bradshaw.
You don't have to, okay,
but,
mister? But what? No, all kidding aside. But you can.
I've got all the football cards.
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, of course.
And you guys, and I'm willing to bet that the guys my age and older that also lived through that, and then you guys, the aficionados of football that came up hearing the stories about that, can do the same thing. Can name as many Raiders that tortured you as
Ken Stabler, baby.
Absolutely. There you go.
Snake.
It's definitely a good definitely a good rivalry.
Blitnikoff, the kicker. What was his name? Fred Blitnikoff?
He wasn't a kicker, Dave. He was a Hall of Fame wide receiver. His
that guy.
His picture's right there in case you want to see. He
wasn't a kicker.
No, number 2. You're thinking of George Blanda.
Yeah,
that's right.
And our kickers had all their feet.
Oh.
You're talking about the staff.
You're talking about Rocky Bleier?
I'm just saying.
Fullback, he was they made it by half a foot or whatever that joke. Yeah.
Bump.
There you go. Okay, so Dave, I gave you a little cheat sheet there.
Are they? What's the chat room going? Well, I said Blitnikoff being the kicker.
Oh, they're trash.
They're a little bit behind us, so they'll catch up.
Great.
So that's okay. But
crucify me.
I'll be sure to.
Actually, they did chime in a little bit, and a lot of them were saying they go, we hate this guy's team, but.
He was nice up until his idiotic comment about Blitnikoff being a kicker.
We hate Kansas City more.
Well, good.
And we're going to get to that in a minute, too.
We'll get to that in a minute. So on your cheat sheet here, Dave, so I gave you a cheat sheet
look at it.
of the Raiders and Steelers rivalry. So to kind of give you guys the tail of the tape, so it looks like this going into our matchup. The first meeting was October 25th, 1970. And then the last meeting, of course, was when the Steelers beat the Raiders 38-35 in November of 15. I think you were here for that. No, you were here for that, weren't you?
No, because we won.
Yeah, that's right. You've only ever seen him.
I've never seen him win a game. So I don't come to the house much during the game.
So the all-time series, despite the Raiders kind of being down and the Steelers being up for the past since the early 2000s, we lead the series 15-13, and we also lead not only to the all-time series, but we lead the regular season series 12-10. As I mentioned earlier, the postseason results were tied at 3-3. And the largest victory was in 2010 when your Steelers beat us 35-3. So, Dave, you got some bullet points there. You want to read a couple of those bullets? Now, these are the highlights of the rivalry. You want to read one of those?
No.
Okay, I'll read it for you. And the inaugural game of the rivalry was during Week 6 of the 1970 season, when the Raiders crushed the visiting Steelers 31-14. The Steelers would miss out on the postseason while the Raiders went on to play the Colts in the AFC Championship.
I'm glad I didn't read that one.
Well, you want to go to the next one?
No, not really.
Mosh, you want to get one?
Sure. In Week 3 of the 1990 season, the Steelers would visit the Raiders and get beat 21-3. Both teams would have winning records. The Raiders 12-4. The Steelers not quite as good at 9-7. But the Steelers sat out of the playoffs while the Raiders made a trip to the AFC Championship.
Dave, you sure you don't want to read one? There's another one there.
I think I'm good.
All right. How about in Week 2 of the 2002 season, the Raiders visited the Steelers and won 30-17. Both teams would have a winning record and possession of the first and third seeds of the playoffs and win their divisions. Despite this, neither team played each other in the postseason, as the Steelers were eventually knocked out by the Titans, while the Raiders beat the Titans and then went on to play the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Dave, you want to read another one?
No, I haven't read any of them.
Okay, Mosh, you got one?
Sure. Well, the Raiders in 2009 rallied to defeat the Steelers 27-24 in a game where the two teams combined for 5 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. The game lead changed hands on all 5 of the game winner by future Steelers backup quarterback Bruce Gedkowski. Came with 9 seconds to go in the fourth.
Bruce Gradkowski, do you remember that, to Lewis Murphy? You remember when Lewis Murphy caught those 2 touchdown passes, Dave, and the Raiders won?
No.
You don't remember that?
Yeah, I think I did.
That was in Pittsburgh.
You guys are much more prepared than I am.
Were you here? Was he here for that? game?
No, he wasn't here for that one.
Should have been.
No. In week 3 of the 2012 season, the Raiders rallied from down 31-21 in the fourth quarter to win the game 34-31 on a last-second Sebastian Janikowski field goal. The game saw, remember that one?
Yeah,
the game saw several skirmishes between the two teams, and the NFL networks rebroadcasted the game, made a point of drawing parallels between the rivalries of the 70s and the current incarnation of the teams. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was great. Dave, you want to read one there?
Now give Dave a break. I'll get this last one.
Okay, all right.
In week 8 of 2013, the Steelers went to Oakland to take on the Raiders, and their then starting quarterback, Terrell Pryor. Pryor ran for a 93-yard touchdown, which would be the longest run by any quarterback in NFL history. The Steelers tried to rally late in the game, but came up short, losing 21-18.
Do you remember all these games, Dave?
I do.
You know what? I just went to the rundown of the Raiders-Steelers rivalry, and miraculously, it's all Raider victories there.
Boom. Hey, you know, I think I'm going to break the curse of the Steelers' losses. I'm going to come watch the game with you this Sunday.
You're not invited.
I'm not invited. I think this would be an appropriate weekend. I think we might
actually. You
it
know
might
what?
Be a good possibility.
It might be good considering that they've never. The Raiders have always won every time you've been here for the game. Yes, please come over.
Well, we've got a lot of injuries, so I don't know. It could go. It's hit or miss.
Well, so this week, as you mentioned, the game this weekend, the 2018 matchup. This is probably going to be the last time the Steelers ever make a trip to Oakland, because as you know, the Raiders are moving to Las Vegas, and we don't know where they're going to play next year, and the opponents have already been set for this next season, and the Steelers aren't going to Oakland. So this is it. So Raider Nation, I know that Mojo, one of our made men here on the show, is going to the game, and I know a lot of our listeners are going to the game. So definitely y'all represent Raider Nation proud, as we all know you will. And man, let those Steelers have it, because this is going to be the last time that we're going to see them in the Oakland Coliseum.
Boom.
Boom.
Nobody enjoyed a good Donnybrook more than sixth-year linebacker Phil Villapiano.
Linebacker, number 41, Phil Villapiano.
This is Phil Villapiano, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
All right, next up here on Raiders Fan Radio, we'll do a little bit of kind of like a game review thing.
Can I give a shout out to my mother and father-in-law?
Absolutely.
Hey, man,
absolutely.
My mother and father-in-law, George and Nancy Kruger, apparently are watching this because they just sent me a text, and my mother-in-law said, "Where did you get that blonde hair?" Thanks for tuning in.
Good deal.
Awesome.
We'll appreciate. Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in.
Tell her to subscribe.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button while you're there. Oh, we never even did our contact information.
And I got this from my father-in-law, George Kruger. He said Lions and Raiders are tied at 6 wins and 6 losses.
He must be a Lions fan.
Of course he is.
Absolutely. There you go.
From Detroit.
There you go.
Tragically.
Hey, you know,
he's an optimist.
He is an optimist. I love that guy.
Yeah, I do too.
We're all kidding aside. We were talking about getting his mom to subscribe to us.
Yeah.
And subscribing to us is really cool, but there's a way that you can hear all the stuff that we do.
Yes.
And hang on, let me take a deep breath.
Take your deep breath and let's play our contact information.
Hit on the inhaler and go. All right, boys and girls, pay attention. You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an update. That's right. I got some stuff for you. Take out a piece of paper, a pencil, a pen. Heck, use your pocket knife and carve the info into your dashboard as you're driving down the highway. First off, you need to like us on our fan page on Facebook. That's right. Go to Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. Don't forget about the Twitter. You know your old Uncle Mosh, he twits now. That's right. Go to at Raiders Fan Radio. Also, don't forget the Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. Or what about our website? That's right, RaidersFanRadio.com. Heck, if you want to, you can even email us, show at RaidersFanRadio.com, or call us on the Raiders Fan Radio hotline, 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Don't forget Murf's Fan Cave on the YouTube, where you can get all the show links, like the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz. Find all our stuff on podcast providers like Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. All right, did I hit the time limit? Good.
All right, Dave, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we have a chat room that stays pretty active. And we see a lot of names in there. 3 Ring Raiders, Joe Cantrell, Done with the Internet, Full Metal Mexican, Just Win Johnny, The Raider Critique, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Pirate 1975, Mr. Ruiz, lots of names in there, John Switzer. I can't scroll through to see them all, but thank you guys for supporting us as always and joining us in the chat room. And then there's a fantastic line, one of the funniest lines of the night so far.
Biliknikov being a kicker.
Done with the Internet. No, even better, says, damn, Guy Fieri got mad skills.
What?
Because of your hair.
Oh.
Guy Fieri's actually a Raiders fan. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Oh, good job. Done with the
cook,
Internet.
baby.
Good job. All right, so Dave, here on Raiders Fan Radio, the highlight of our show is what we call the Sea of Fans mailbag, and that's where people call us at 909-345-3346, and they leave us a voicemail. We play it on the show, and then we respond to it. You can also email us at show@RaidersFanRadio.com, and we get some great listener messages. Listener messages. Thanks.
Sure.
What?
So just don't what? You're just supposed to read it and keep going. It's like if I was a producer talking in your ear.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, talk in my ear. Okay, I missed. I'm all over the place.
I know, but you'll come back to it.
Well, let's just do it now.
Hey,
let's just do it now.
Before we get to see a fan's mailbag, we got to touch on last week's game.
Yeah.
You know, let's touch just a smidgen because Sea of Fans mailbag. The Sea of Fans mailbag will obviously.
I think it's that cough medicine.
I know, right? Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is better than the hot toddies. I'm about three-fourths of a bottle into the night.
Wow, that'll do it.
Uncle Mosh, we need to get you a Jamarcus Russell jersey over there.
We need to get you a NyQuil endorsement for the program.
All right, so one of the things that we touched on last week was about Dave, about hating your rivals, right? And when it's what teams are that you hate, and well, we don't embrace hate by any means in our normal lives. And in terms of football, it's okay to hate a little bit. And so we played an audio clip from a Raiders-Chiefs game, Thursday Night Football last year, when Ving Rhames did this amazing voiceover about the hatred between these two teams. And don't you know it, it came right on the heels of our own Uncle Mosh doing his own Raiders hatred.
About a week before Ving did it.
Yeah, well, I looked it up. It was actually 2 weeks prior. So it's 2 weeks prior. And so we wanted to play it then. I didn't have it ready then, but so going back from last week, I got it here ready to go for this week. And so it's not only about the Chiefs, it's kind of about the overall idea about hating your rival. And so this is fantastic. So this is Uncle Mosh from last week, and we're going to call this the RFR Rewind. RFR Rewind. Next one we're going to play. Grab yourself your frosty adult beverage, if you will. This one's a few minutes long. Our fabulous Uncle Mosh, who provides so many voiceovers for our show, said he wanted to get on this week. He wanted to give a little bit of a rant. I told him to call in, and we'll feature him on the Sea of Fans. And he said, no, I want to come by and record it. So I said, all right, so come on by. So he came on by, and we recorded this here in the Dago Dungeon South. And here is Uncle Mosh, or as he calls himself here, the Raider Hater.
Sonny and Murf, Raiders Fan Radio. You guys are preaching. That's right. You're standing up on the pulpit and you're going, love. We all need to love each other. And with all that stuff going on, love this and love that. And then 30 seconds later, the next thing out of your mouth is, oh, man, I hate the Broncos. I hate the Redskins. I hate the 49ers. Well, you know what? What you got here is the Raider hater. Haters gotta hate, and I'm a hater. I'm the Raider hater. Oh, sure. We're in a time in our society right now when everybody's preaching love this and love that, and we all got a cause. I'm here to claim the only good cause in sports that's worth talking about is how to hate. Now, hear me out. When is it appropriate in everyday life to walk down a street and look at a person and say that you hate them because of their ethnicity, their handicap, their national origin, their religious preference, their gender, their speech pattern? The answer's never. It's never an appropriate course of action to hate somebody because of that stuff I was just talking about. But change that up a little bit and go into a bar in Boston and announce your hatred for the Yankees. You'll never buy a drink that entire evening. Heck, you might even be on the ballot for mayor. You see where I'm going? If we as fans, athletes, owners, managers, coaches, whatever we are, if we keep our causes and our issues out of sports and stick to just hating people because of their mascots or their hometowns, life would be so much easier. So here I am. I am the Raider hater. Why? Because the Steelers suck. New England cheats. The Chiefs are losers. The Broncos blow. And the 49ers are, well, they're the 49ers. I need no other reason to hate them than they're the 49ers. Look, I'm old school. And there's no such thing in my world as the Immaculate Reception. They cheated. And the tuck rule, it should be called the Foxborough Cornhole. That's right, I said it. When I started watching the Raiders, we prided ourselves as being the most penalized team in the NFL. We had a QB that partied hardier than Broadway Joe. We had a lineman from the University of Mars. And our owner, for crying out loud, drafted a punter with a broken foot. We were the bad boys of the NFL, and we hated everybody. You know why? Because everybody hated us. I am the Raider hater, not a Raider hater. With all that being said, boys and girls, remember, our country is a great place, and we have great problems. And we need to continually work to make ourselves a more cohesive unit off the field. But on the field, we need to keep hating. We need to hate long, we need to hate deep, hate often, and never forget. Next week, I'm so excited. I'm excited to tell you why I hate the Chargers. Raider hater, out.
Holy cow. You need therapy.
Isn't that fun?
That was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
I know some great counselors. We'll talk after the show.
Okay, awesome.
All right, here we go, guys. Let's jump into Sea Fans mailbag.
Fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's caught. He's thrown. It is.
That might be my favorite rant you've ever done.
Thank you.
By the way, that's such a good one.
I had
That's such a
fun
good
with
one.
writing that one.
That was fun.
Hey, but you know, I'm not done.
Oh, jeez.
Because in honor of Dave being here and my hatred for the Steelers, my love for Dave is one thing, but my hatred for his team is backed up by David Jones. David Jones.
David
Jones. He's a fan, and he posts this great thing on Facebook, and he talks about, oh my gosh, he's got some great stories in here, and he's talking about growing up, and his dad bet on football, and he's got some really good things, and he's gambling and drinking and having fun, and it all revolved around football and everything. And anyway, and he goes on and he talks about his his fandom and his love for the game, and he says, but He has this little story, Dave, and he's a true hater, and he's a true hater of the Steelers. And he says, but I have to give at least one of my many stories from going to Pittsburgh to watch my Raiders play. He was living in Pittsburgh, and he was a Raider fan. And he says, back in December 2000, the next to the last game ever to be played in Three Rivers Stadium because it was to be imploded, I took my 7-year-old son to this game. Both of us were proudly sporting our black hole attire. In the third quarter, with the Raiders in the lead, my son had to go to the restroom. We entered a restroom filled with over 100 drunken Steeler fans. Out of my son's brainwashed Raiders' mouth came a scream. The Steelers suck! Suddenly, the entirety of all these drunk Steelers fans turned and looked directly at me. Not my 7-year-old son, who I was trying to push in front of me, LOL, to the mob, all of a sudden started to close in on us. I grabbed my son by his Raider jersey and I rushed out the door. As we started to go through the tunnel back into the stadium, I heard the screams from the Steelers fan directly behind my head. I pushed my son into the stadium and I turned to face my demise. As I turned, a fist was coming at my face. Then it was on like Donkey Kong. LOL, we were escorted out of Three Rivers Stadium only to miss Cordell Stewart's flippin' comeback. We knocked him out of the game earlier, and so he came back. But victory in the fourth quarter. This is my last message.
Did they ever go to the bathroom or did they pee their pants?
He doesn't go on to say, but I'm sure David.
After he got punched in the face, he probably peed his pants.
Yeah, because no one would ever treat a fan of the opposing team ill at the Oakland Coliseum.
Ever.
We've never seen any of that ever.
My gosh.
We've never heard of it.
Never even heard of it. So only this is the kind of behavior that Steelers country is famous for. Dave, you want to comment on that?
I think you're both lying. I know better. I've been to Oakland.
It's we are very fair and very accommodating to those that choose to support.
Accommodating, helping people out of the stadium.
Yes, exactly.
After you punch them in the face,
helping relieving them of their clothing, and
and I bet you nobody even asked who hit who. They just escorted the Raider out.
Everybody goes.
That's exactly right. All right, Uncle Mosh, you got another email for us there? You want to jump into a voicemail?
No, let's go with Rico.
Do it.
Rico is our bro Rico's Italian.
Rico's Italian. Lives in the Canary Islands.
He lives in the Canary Islands. Okay, so Rico says, he wrote us a fairly long email, and I'm gonna go ahead and chop it up just a little bit because I want to give you the highlights of it. But Rico spent his holidays, and he was listening to our podcast and the YouTube, and he said that during some holidays recently he was in Italy, Slovakia, and Sweden. So there's 3 countries.
Wow.
Rico's in the Canary Islands, and he was listening to us while he was traveling in those 3 countries.
Cool.
And he says, but he wants to rewind a second back to the London game because it was the first time in his life that one of his dreams had come true. He arrived in London for the game, and he went to a pub. He had his Plunkett T-shirt on, and some guys came in and started talking to him. And it turns out they were working for the Raiders staff. So he got to hang out in a pub in England with some Raiders staff.
That's cool.
Suddenly, he sees a shop as he left the pub, and he's walking, and the Raiderettes and Maurice Hurst were there taking pictures and signing autographs, right? So he spent some time in there, and he got his picture taken, and he shared those pictures with us, and we'll put them on our website, and you can check those out too.
Yeah, for sure.
And then as he was leaving, and he got to the game, and before the game started, in one of the tunnels, he sees Mr. Davis walking in, Mark Davis walking in, and people were screaming and doing pictures and blah, 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 and Mr. Davis wasn't looking at anyone, but then all of a sudden, he screamed and he yelled above everybody. It was like a lull in the crowd, and he yells out, "We believe in you, Mark!" And he raised his fist and he looked up, and their eyes met, and
Dreamweaver started playing.
Yeah. Dave Northrup was drumming silently. This really awesome jazz in the background. Yeah.
You were doing brushes.
Yeah.
And he said that Mark raised his fist back at him. And he said it was one of the best moments of his life. Pardon me. He says he goes on to comment, and he gives it some commentary, and he says, if you're not committed and don't feel part of the team, you're not a Raider. And if you're not a Raider, get out. Go cheer for someone else, maybe the Cowgirls or the Pandas. I love that. I love that. Because and he goes on to talk about we're Raiders, we're committed to excellence. And he said, with all that said, I hate everyone who is against us on a game day, so I really hope we sack badly little baby Ben Rotherdam. Then he goes on to say, God bless you and me and Mickey and Splatterhead and Fitz and all the made men. And he gives a shout out to Capo Q-Dog and all the community around us supporting the nation. We got to support each other. P.S. He said, I finally found a place for that Amari Pooper jersey that my sister gave me as a present 2 years ago. It's now a dress for the back of my toilet. And that picture is on our website.
And it's awesome. Hold it. Can you flip it? Hold it up to your camera there so you see if you can see it. It's so funny. So these are the pictures that Rico sent us. And look at there.
It's the Cooper.
So look, he put his Amari Cooper jersey on the back of his toilet, and it's now the Cooper Pooper. That is fantastic.
Brilliant.
Great job, Rico. Great job, Rico.
Rico. We hear from you every now and again, and when they do, they're always great letters and emails, and keep supporting us all over Europe, baby.
Absolutely.
The Canary Islands and everywhere you go, and that's awesome. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Great stuff from Rico there. Appreciate your support of Raiders Fan Radio as always, my friend. All right, Uncle Mosh, let's do some voicemails. First off, we're going to hear from our buddy B-Dog. And, David, you don't know this, but he is in a pasture in Texas.
Oh, nice.
Well, hey, Mosh. Hey, Murf. First of all, I got to say, what a game yesterday. That was closer than I expected. It was probably the first game I enjoyed watching since the Browns game. All the players looked like they were having fun. Mari Cooper. And Marcel Aitman, man, he stepped up real big yesterday. I think he can be something special. You know, his first touchdown showing some promise, I think. Oh, Sunday, the play, Lee Smith touchdown. That play was beautiful, man. Not only was it a perfect pass by Carr, but it was a perfect catch by Lee Smith. There's nothing better than just seeing your quarterback in the pocket at the 1 yard line, throw it to your tight end, and you see no defenders in sight. Also, to add on to that, every single one of the offensive linemen, all 5 of them, got a pancake block on that one play. It was amazing to watch. It was as beautiful as watching Jesus driving a monster truck through a flaming hoop of fire, I must say. Hey, I was thinking that hopefully one day y'all can come out to my pasture and watch the Raiders win the Super Bowl. You know, Mosh, Murf, Mikey, Q-Dog, by the way, congrats to the title of Capo, Refrigerator Raider, Steve, LA Raider, Big Raider Trucker, and everyone else who calls in, leaves emails. You know what I'm saying. Oh, and the other day we signed C.J. Anderson. I always kind of liked C.J. Anderson. I mean, even though he was a Bronco at some point, but, you know, hard runner, gets the job done. But I was also thinking that is this sort of like a hint to where, like, is beast mode not coming back? Is that what this signing means? Is this kind of just like, hey, we need to bring in another running back because our running backs are having fumbling issues? I don't know. I kind of want to just get y'all's opinion on it. So, you know, thank y'all. Talk to you later.
All right, great job there, B-Dog. Appreciate the phone call from the pasture in Texas. That was pretty funny. That was a good line.
Yeah, man.
That was a good line. So, you know, we signed C.J. Anderson, who is from Oakland. And it's funny, I think back to he had a press conference once upon a time when he was a member of the Broncos, and he talked about how his mom would come to the games when the Broncos were playing the Raiders, and she wouldn't root for him. She'd be like, I'm sorry, son, you're playing the Raiders. Like, it's like, she's like, I'm not rooting for you. Like, I'll root for you, you know, 14 times a year, but the 2 times you're playing the Raiders, and she referred to him as my Raiders. She's like, then no. So it was pretty funny. So anyway, now C.J. Anderson has now become a Raider, and so we'll have a good time watching him play, maybe even as soon as this weekend. But yeah, I think that kind of spells maybe not the end of Marshawn as a career, but certainly for this year, Mosh. I don't expect. I think Marshawn signed up to be an Oakland Raider. I don't expect that we're going to see him back at all. Maybe anymore. I hate that, but
yeah, and I agree with that. He did sign up to come and play in Oakland, and you know he's not a stupid man. He understands that his days are numbered, as they all do. You know, the good ones want to go out on top. You know, but when you're on top, you never look at the end. You know, not everybody can be Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah. You know, and so it's unfortunate the way that went down with the injury, but you know, I don't. Hopefully, he'll get that send off. at least that one more time to play in Oakland. But who knows? I mean, they're talking about in the chat room tonight like crazy. Raiders might play in San Diego next year. We might play at old Qualcomm Stadium because, we don't – right now, nobody knows where the Raiders are going to play next year. We're, going to be homeless for all intents.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty – until the 2020 Vegas Stadium gets done. So, all right, well, speaking of San Diego, let's hear from our buddy Mojo Raider.
What's up, fellas? Mojo in San Diego. Just calling after the pretty impressive Chiefs game. It was an L. We don't like taking the L's, but it felt good to come into work today and talk with some of the dudes around here without them making fun of me all day long, like usual in San Diego, California. Hey, I want to bring up one thing. You guys know I'm a big Conley fan. Read a stat today. He's allowed 15 yards in the last 3 games. What? Kid's special. Next thing I want to say, because I know it was just going to be one thing, but here's another. Derek Carr, man, 7 games in a row, no picks. I really hope I don't screw that up for him. So I just knocked on the little bit of wood I found inside the truck here. And then last thing, hey, man, things just kind of worked out for me. Me and the wife will be headed up to the Coliseum, and we will attend the Steelers game. So get ready for a video or two. Definitely some picks. Anyway, hey, just win, baby. Let's go, Raiders. 2020 Super Bowl. Later.
All right, appreciate Mojo calling in as always. So a couple things there. He mentioned, Mosh, that it was a pretty good game, right? Like we played the Chiefs well. We played them within 7 points. Aside from the 3 fumbles, we sure would have liked to have seen the Raiders get an opportunity to win that football game. So I ask you both this question, Dave. We'll start with you. I put out kind of an informal poll this week on our Facebook, and I asked, is there a such thing as a moral victory? Can you take away playing well against arguably the best team in the league when you're arguably one of the worst teams in the league? Can you take away from that a 7-point loss? Is there anything? Is there a such thing even as a moral victory? Can you, as a fan, take solace in the fact that at least you played well, or is that just goofy? You should just want your team to win and nothing else.
No, of course. If there's some improvement and they hold their own to a obviously a better stacked team, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
A respectable lose. Is there a possibility of that? A respectable loss, rather? I guess.
I agree with what you're saying, Dave. I think what I would look at is I would want to go and I would want to say, what were the locker rooms like? Was the locker room after the Raiders' final 7 drives are 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals, and then the lost fumble? That's what you said is respectable. So what's the locker room like? After that, hey, guys, you kicked ass in the 4th quarter, which you haven't done all year, and you showed that you can play, that you can go 60 minutes. And then on the flip side of that, what's Kansas City's locker room like? Okay, we got the W, but by the skin of our teeth.
Absolutely.
Which locker room would you rather be in?
Absolutely.
You got to look at that and you got to say, hey, these were guys that had nothing to play for. The Oakland Raiders had nothing to play for but pride, and they showed freaking pride.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's still, a loss is a loss. Is a loss.
L's an L, right? Yeah. What about your Steelers? Lost a tough one this last week.
Yeah,
right?
The last 2 weeks in a row. It's a drag. It seems like they're losing gas at the end of the games.
Well, get ready for 3 in a row.
Well, I don't know about that. even as beat up as we are, I think that we will prevail.
Who's going to run the football for you guys? Connor's out now too, right?
Yeah, Connor's out. What is it? Jalen Samuels, I believe, is going to take up the slack.
Is that a local guy?
No,
is that the guy who the one you were?
No, there's a guy named Ralph Webb that got activated into the practice squad. Who, ironically, is as a Vanderbilt grad. Being based here in Nashville. You hear about guys, the local guys, if you will, sort of local guys, but. I guess Ralph Webb was a kind of a stellar player at one point. Had some records here, rushing records for Vanderbilt. But that was something that I thought was interesting, that he'd been activated onto the practice squad. just sort of being a local guy. But
so who's the other one that you said? The running back?
Jalen
Samuels.
Yeah,
okay.
he was a fifth round pick from North Carolina State, and they seem to be somewhat confident. I mean, he's been showing some real promise at practices, and they seem to be confident that he'll hold his own.
Well, he's going against a good team to run the football against, because that's one of the areas that we've been weak on. So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that'll be an interesting matchup to watch. I'd put you on the spot here. What about your tight end? I haven't watched a lot of Steelers this year. That's another one that when we just gave up to Travis Kelce, he set a record for the Chiefs for yardage and catches and everything. How the Steelers looking at tight end this year?
Well, great. We've got McDonald. We've got Jesse James. I mean, they're pretty strong.
Yeah.
Of course, Big Ben, he's the man. Their offensive line is looking fantastic. Their defensive line is looking fantastic. It's just a matter of punching freaking guys into the end zone or throwing the ball where it needs to be thrown.
Well, and Antonio Brown's going to get loose. That was the last time that we played him. I think that was the day that Antonio Brown had like 180 receiving yards or something crazy. Of course, the game was close, but man, Brown just had an amazing day last time the Raiders and Steelers. He's a stud. All right, we're going to get to another call here. Real quick before we move on, though, one last one. Then we'll just hit a few in a row after this one. Mojo mentioned Gary and Conley. Conley is playing fantastic, and I want to acknowledge that. Appreciate Mojo bringing him up. Conley has forced an incompletion on 28% of his targets when defending outside receivers this year. Not only does that rank third in the NFL, but it's also the highest rank for an Oakland cornerback in the Pro Football Focus era. So that goes back to 2006. So we're talking about, pretty rarefied air there. That's Nnamdi Asomugha type territory. So Conley is definitely playing well, and so definitely thanks for bringing him up, Mojo. All right, let's go. I'm going to just kind of let it roll here. We're going to hit a few in a row. First off, let's hear from Houston Raiders Steve, who called before and after the game.
Hey, Raider Nation. This is Houston Raiders Steve. I'm out at the Coliseum and everything with my great friend Marie. She's in the steering committee out of Fairfield, and ran into Raider Greg and his lovely wife Charmaine from the Raider Nation podcast. We're thinking about you all, Murf and Mosh and Raider Nation out there. Arden Key blocked the extra point right before halftime. I believe it's 19-7, Kansas City. I know the spread was 15, but man, it's a beautiful day out here against the Chiefs. Man, the team's struggling and everything, but they're trying to hang in there and everything. So they'll keep playing till the end of the game. And Raider Nation for life. Never jump ship, never walk the plank, and we're all in it. We're all family. I hope everybody has a great holiday season. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year coming up. I know it's a little.
Hey, Murf and Mosh, this is Steve, Houston Raiders Steve. Man, what a game today. I was with my friend Marie from Fairfield. And, man, that game we played all the way till the 2-minute warning and everything. The Raiders had a game that was loud as you-know-what in there. It was great. The crowd really got behind it. Derek Carr was on the sidelines, getting everybody pumped up at the end, trying to get them all fired up to, make more noise. And, I don't know, man, it was just a great game. I didn't realistically think we were going to beat the Chiefs. We just don't have the personnel that they have. But we made a game of it all the way to the end. They played 4 quarters, and they played their hearts out, defense and offense. Sure, there were some mistakes going against a bright young star and Patrick Mahomes and the great running backs that they have and receivers. Kelce tore us up. We're all cheering loud for, of course, Jordy and everything, and he made some great catches. And a running game with Richard got going. Washington got going. It was almost lost my voice. Anyway, we saw a great game. They played their hearts out. We're going to get better in this draft, and we're just going to go out and get better and better. Word is, from what I heard and everything from my friend Marie's on the steering committee, probably Reggie McKenzie's gone and Bruce Allen is back as a general manager next year. So anyway, that's the scuttlebutt that I heard. And who knows where we're playing next year. I don't think we're going to be playing in Oakland. I think we're going to be playing in San Diego, but I might be completely wrong. Anyway, God bless, and great show as always, and congratulations, Q-Dog, for getting Capo. God bless you, y'all. Take care.
All right. Thank you, Houston Raiders Steve, for checking in with us here on Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate it. And always love it to hit the phone calls from the folks that go to the game, right?
Yeah, man.
Right after the game.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. All right. Let's go to the next caller. We have, I believe, a new caller, maybe?
Florida Raider.
Hey, Murf, Uncle Mosh. I just listened to your latest podcast. This is Florida Raider, Ben calling. Got a few things that just seem to rub me the wrong way. Especially this talk about Carr, being benched, being traded, this, that, by these talking heads on TV. You know, I wish they'd all just shut their pie holes. You know, this guy, you give him a line, he proved what he can do 2 years ago. If they want to see a sorry quarterback situation, come on down to Florida and watch the local channels down here. You got a mess. You got Blake Bortles to start it off. You got Jameis Winston and Fitzpatrick. You got this mess down there in Miami. I mean, I got to put up with these games if I don't watch, you know, when I'm waiting for the Raider games to come on. And, you know, we got a stud quarterback, man. Just give this guy some time and he will, you know, find receivers once we get some again. But, I mean, the kid stands up. He never backs down from the podium. And, you know, give this guy a break. I mean, he's got nothing to work with. The line is like a sieve. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the zone blocking scheme that Cable's got going on. You know, I'm thinking that a little bit. I look back at Seattle last year and Russell Wilson was running for his life. They seem like their line's pretty stout this year without him. So I don't know if that's the problem, but, I know they've been banged up too. So you got to give them a little leeway there, but, they need to fix that situation and Carr will come through. There's no doubt about that. The second thing I'm having a problem with is, Christmas time this year. I keep getting jerseys, and these players are going faster than like they're running through a turnstile. So I'm not sure what jersey to get this Christmas. You know, I got a Mac jersey. He's gone. You know, I was thinking about getting a Carr, but now these people talking about Carr got me a little nervous. I got a Marshawn Lynch jersey. Now he's going to be gone. So I'm thinking old style, you know, go old school, like a Biletnikoff or a Marv Hubbard or Mark Van Egan, you know, maybe, or a Kenny King. Why don't you guys pick one for me so I can put it on my Christmas list? The third thing is these Chiefs. We were playing the Chiefs this week. I'm thoroughly disgusted. I've hated them all my life. I've been a fan since 1969, 1970. When I had to deal with Len Dawson and Buck Buchanan and Willie Lanier at middle linebacker with that stupid helmet he always wore. It looked like the Great Kazoo out there. I've hated them since I was a kid. I still hate them to this day. 14 or 15.5 point underdogs at home is a disgrace. They should fire up this team. Let's, you know, light a fire under their rear ends and smack them around a little bit, and let's show these people what we're made of. To win one of these games against them would be great this year. So my passion of hatred against these Chiefs is undeniable. I mean, I can ramble on all day about it. I can't wait to hear Uncle Mosh's rant that you have taped next week. I'm sure I'm going to love it. Hopefully we'll be in all better moods come Monday after we shock the world and knock these clowns off. So anyway, have a good weekend, guys, and enjoy the game. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Q-Dog loves him. Q-Dog was calling
Florida Raiders, great, man.
He was calling him Wyoming Raiders' long-lost brother.
Nice.
He said that he says, please, give me a tailgating too much with Florida Raiders.
Oh, absolutely. Done and done.
A shout-out to you, Florida Raider. Q-Dog says you need to get a Jack Tatum number 32 jersey.
Tatum would be a good one. Tatum, since he asked, my vote would be number 24. And I'm gonna bring it on camera here because not only with 24. All right, so there you got the legendary Willie Brown wore 24. But Charles Woodson wore 24, and Marshawn wears 24. So whether you go, and regardless of which player you pick, I think 24 is a great Raiders jersey. So that would be my vote, would be 24. Dave, now you're wearing Palomalu.
Yeah.
So who is, as far as like, you know, you have some iconic numbers there with Steeler Nation. We'll give you the floor for a minute. Which one would you pick? If you had to pick a Steeler?
Depends on the era. I would say 58.
That's Lambert, right?
Jack Lambert, of course.
Jack Lambert, that would be a good one. Is that where is your, like, we ask our Raider fans for their Mount Rushmore of Raiders, like they're also like, and we spot you Al Davis, so you got to pick three more. Mm-hmm. So for yours, I would say your Mount Rushmore would be one of the Rooneys would be one of, like, you know, Dan or Art, right?
Yeah,
Art,
sure.
right? Okay,
sure.
So then if you had to pick three other people to represent the Mount Rushmore of Steelers.
Coach Cowher.
Coach Cowher,
oh,
interesting.
Nice,
okay,
nice.
Yeah, he'd be killer.
All right,
Yeah.
and who else? You got two more.
Palomalu,
right? For the Head and Shoulders commercials alone. Yeah.
Bradshaw would be cool, man.
four Super Bowls, man. It's kind of tough to argue
but
with
he
that,
said
right?
he's a personality. I've heard, both those guys, Cowher and Bradshaw. From what I've gathered from anybody that have met them, they've all said they're really, really cool.
Did you ever Did you get a chance to see his show, the one he did with Henry Winkler and George Foreman?
No.
And one of the absolutely funniest shows on television. And Bradshaw, see, I relate to Bradshaw because Bradshaw will drop trow in a minute. And it's it's that old school thing,
Big time.
Your pants, if they got to come off, they got to come off.
And sometimes they come off by themselves.
Sometimes they come off by yourself.
Yeah, I'm
but
sure.
he's just a funny human being, man. I loved it when he and Howie first started together.
Big time.
Yeah.
And they're just everybody he works with. He's just got such great chemistry, man. The guy is just funny.
Yeah,
crap.
he's a natural, man. Yeah, big time.
So is that so you got Bradshaw, you said Palomalu, Cowher, and Art Rooney. That's pretty solid.
And of course Jack Lambert too.
And Lambert.
That would be
it's hard, the thing that's so hard about the question is that just like it is with the Raiders is that you can't fill it. Like someone's going to get left out, right? Like, you know what I mean? Cuz
Mean Joe Green.
Joe Green,
of course. That would, he's iconic.
Hines Ward, and more modern day guys. Bettis, even you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, Bettis was amazing. So he's the only guy that I ever met. From the Steelers.
Okay.
That was really cool.
That's very cool. All right,
Franco Harris.
No, we don't talk about Franco.
Come on, baby.
Sorry,
he didn't catch
do
it.
it. Can't do it.
He didn't catch it. He didn't catch that ball.
Oh, he did.
No, he didn't. And the ball hit Frenchie Fuqua, and it was illegal back in those days for an offensive player to touch the ball before another player caught the ball. So by the rules of the league at the time, it's an incomplete pass. I wasn't even alive for it, but it still hurts. It still hurts.
No.
I still haven't let it go. I heard the stories vicariously through my uncles that did live through it, right?
Oh, my.
I know, right? It's this deep-seated stuff, Dave.
It's bad.
It is
Council.
bad.
Do you guys
I almost quit watching This Is Us because they had that episode with Franco Harris on there.
Did they really?
Yeah, and it's one of the best written. It's an unbelievable television show, and that episode about killed me. Of course, it's all they're in Pittsburgh, and they're huge football fans, and it's like, come on,
it's Pittsburgh. There's no T in it.
I gotta give a shout out. So there's these two friends of mine, both musicians, that are lighting up my phone. One, a great drummer named Cactus Mosier.
Okay.
Who drummer for really successful country band. He plays with Winona Judd.
Okay. Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, he's lighting me up here saying yes, the Nation. And then bass
He's
player
a Raider
friend.
fan?
Oh, he's a big-time Raider fan.
Awesome. We definitely give respect to Cactus.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Cactus
you checking
Mosier.
us out tonight.
And
Thank
then
you.
Dow Tomlin, who plays bass with Winona's band, he's also a crazy Raiders fan. And he's hitting me up right now saying, "Oh, yeah, go Raiders."
Awesome. Well, good deal.
Nice.
Definitely
I'm glad
respect
to
to both those guys.
Cactus also was the drummer for Highway 101 and just a fantastic guy. I met him early on before I even moved to Nashville. Helped me out quite a bit. But, yeah, those guys both need some counsel as well. They got brain damage. So I'm going to say a prayer for them tonight.
Yeah, you know what? They fit right into our family.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good deal. Appreciate you sharing that with us.
We could actually get another seat set up if those two wanted to show up.
Yeah, I know. I need to let them know.
We got the drum kit over there.
Hey,
one of you could be like our Questlove. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be killer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to let them know. They got to listen to this episode and say, guys, it's on.
That'd be amazing.
That's right. He could bring his bass.
Oh my gosh, that'd be a Raiders jam session, man. That'd be
he could bring a bass and a little, man, that would be so fun.
That'd be fun. That'd be very
hilarious. Cool. Hey, we gotta move.
All right, we gotta get moving here. So next up, we're gonna hear from our buddy Emiliano, Big Raider Trucker.
What's going on? The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Big Raider Trucker, checking in once again from Southern California. Mosh and Murf, how you guys doing? Want to talk about the game? Wasn't expecting that. I will say, positive note, Carr looks like he's got a hell of a lot more fire in him. I can appreciate that. Also, Murf, I want your take on our secondary. Is it starting to be solidified, or is that just once in a blue moon? You think they'll shit the bed next week? Let me get your take on that. Also, I want to say, Nation, me and Raider Jeff have finally done it. Their shirts are out. Go check out Dead Pirate Sports. Go show them some love. You guys wanted them. So there they are. Also, I want to give big respects to Mr. Aaron, the Q-Dog Raider. Congratulations, Capo. That's the man I'll follow all the way to the grave. All right, Raider Nation, I'm going to leave you with this. From east to west, Trucker has the Black and Silver Nation on his back. For an RFR made man, there is no rest. All right, guys, take that for what it's worth. Like I always say, from the womb to the tomb, baby, and never, ever forget what happens in Vegas. That started in Oakland. Raiders out.
All right, good deal there. Appreciate you, Emiliano, Big Raider Trucker. So we had a tagline contest, Dave, where we had a listener submit their taglines, and his was what started what happens in Vegas started in Oakland. And so now he and a friend of ours, Jeff from deadpiratesports.com, they've taken that saying, and they've got this really cool logo, and they put it on the back of a shirt. So you can find that, deadpiratesports.com. Go over there and check it out. And they've Emiliano was kind enough to send us a few of those shirts, and they're really super cool. So definitely check them out there.
Nice.
And get one of those. So you asked about the secondary. Yeah, I think our secondary is definitely coming together. With Conley, I was kind of scared for Conley. Mosh, I was a little nervous the way, his playing time was down. There was rumors that he might be traded, that he didn't quite fit into Gunther's system. Like, I was a little nervous there because I'm like, look, although I wasn't on board with the pick entirely when we grabbed him, I wanted us to get a linebacker. Still we've spent the pick. You've got the investment. You might as well, take him on and do what you can with him. And so I'm glad to see it's now finally turning around. That coupled with Darryl Worley and now the emergence of Carl Joseph. Heck, man, minus Reggie Nelson, yeah, our secondary's looking pretty decent. So definitely excited about, especially the physicality of it. Both those guys are good tacklers, and Joseph, of course, as we already know, is a good tackler. So good stuff.
Yeah, and they kept Conley because they thought they had to have seen something there to take him in the first place, and then knowing that they could coach him up and get him to fit into the system the way they wanted. Hey, it's the stuff that they did in the off season is what we're seeing now. The fruits of the labor are coming out now.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Great stuff. All right, next up here. So for the camera here, Dave, can you see this guy right here? Is this? I'll hand it to you. Even
looks like damaged goods.
Does that look like anybody you know?
No.
No.
Was that?
Does it ring a bell at all?
Snake?
No. It's that's Lil Murf.
Oh, that's Little Murf.
That's Lil Murf. So I'm Big Murf, right? And then that's
like
Lil Murf.
Tiny Elvis.
It's kind of like Tiny Elvis, exactly. Yeah. So Little Murf was created by a good friend of ours, listener to the show, Monster Mash Ken, owner of Monster Mash Custom Collectibles, or Custom Action Figures, I should say. So check him out, support what Ken does on Facebook, and let's hear his call.
Murf, Gamash, Monster Mash Ken. Good game tonight. It wasn't a win, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. I think some guys went out there and left it out there on the field. Looked like they were having fun playing. Derek Carr almost hitting that 300 mark and tossing a couple 3 touchdowns. And Marcel Aitman and him just got to get that chemistry together better. But that was a nice pass in the end zone when he jumped up there and caught it like Crabtree. And then Jalen Richard almost broke 100. I think he had over 100 yards all purpose. And then Cook is just always balling out. And the defense, we just need a pass rush. And anyway, side notes, all right? I want to talk about some other things. Today was the first day of Hanukkah. My wife is Jewish. I'm not. But so our kids are learning from that. And so we're putting up, we did the Hanukkah, first night of Hanukkah today, but we also put up our Christmas tree. And my daughter, Abigail, Abby Rocket, as I call her, Abby Rocket, she asked, Daddy, where's Santa Claus? And I said, Santa Claus is sitting in the Dago dungeon. He's a fat man with long silver hair. And he's not always known by Santa Claus. His name is Uncle Mosh. And she said, Daddy, what would you ask Uncle Mosh for Christmas? I said, you know what I want for Christmas one year? Monster Mash Ken wants to watch a Raider game with Uncle Mosh and Murf in the Dago dungeon. That's what I want. Maybe let's make this happen. Let's bring the worlds together. Anyway, I just think that it would be fun to watch a Raider game with you guys, and I just thoroughly enjoy listening to you guys and just your output on the game, and you make it really fun to be a Raider fan, and that's what we need right now, especially in a down season. Anyway, thanks for keeping it up, the good work, like as always, and shouting me out. Last week was great. The Sizzler, I loved it, and for I'm drawing a blank. Who the main guy is now. Anyway, the one you named last week. Take care, guys. Happy Hanukkah. Go Raider Nation. Peace out.
Absolutely. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas to you too, Monster Mash Ken and your family. And Uncle Mosh, so I when I was prepping for the show yesterday, I heard that call, and I sent Ken the video of you playing Santa Claus, and I said, share this with Miss Abby. I said, share this with your daughter and see if you recognize the voice. And he was cracking up because, as we all know, Uncle Mosh plays Santa Claus on numerous occasions.
I've been doing it about 30 years.
You really are
years.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, I really think I am. And, actually, I have
you never let me sit on your lap. I don't understand. I mean,
there's actually never been a Pittsburgh Steeler fan on this lap.
Wow, look at that.
This is one of my Santa photos. I actually had to.
And that's hanging on the Raiders' Christmas tree.
That's kind of creepy,
Isn't
man.
that fun?
So, yeah, that was
I don't think I'd want to sit on that lap.
20 years ago or so. I don't know. I call it my bad Santa photo, but I love it. But,
that's awesome.
Yes. So, thanks, Mosh and Mash Can, and tell your kids we said Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas.
Yo, this is Raider Kurt out of Sacktown, California. Original 1995 PSL Raider holder. Just listened to your show. Looked like it was recorded on Wednesday, show number 105. And about 20 minutes into the show, you gave props out to the original Black Hole, section 105. I'm calling to correct that because the original Black Hole is actually section 107. I sit in 107. Row 1, seats 5 and 6. And the original founding members was a guy named Cowboy, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but it was called Skull Patrol before it was even called the Black Hole. Skull Patrol. They used to have an old police car that they used to drive to each game. It was like a 1950-something police car that was all silver and black, had some of the Raider legends names painted on the car. In any case, that's the original Black Hole was 107. I just wanted to report that. And, since then, Gorilla and all the other guys kind of have migrated over to section 105, which is more in the corner of the end zone, right on the A, but right on the E. That's where Al Davis used to walk to. It's right that niche where you see a lot of the old Raider pictures with Al Davis and stuff talking to the original Black Hole is in that niche there, which is along the first baseline. That's 107, baby. So love your show. Just want to say good job. Go Raiders!
All right, appreciate the call. And, there is a lot of truth to what he's saying. And look, the guy sits there, and I think what happens, Mosh, is that, and I reported on 105 because that's what it's stated. It's on the Black Hole website. That's all the published materials all state that. But I think that it's like a lot of things. When something happens organically, when it's not manufactured by the team, when this is a fan-generated thing, it kind of manifests in different ways. And so there's probably a lot of truth to all of the stories. And like, to give you a perfect example, a firsthand account, we're not the first Raider fan radio. We are the second. We came up with Raiders fan radio. And there was, prior to like the way that we know podcasting now, there was an internet quote radio show that was called Raider Fan Radio. And we know the guy that started that, Raider Rob, and we had a lot of talks with him early on when this thing first started, because we wanted to honor the fact that he came up with that name. Raiders Fan Radio was not done to rob, no pun intended, take anything away from what he had already established. It was just coincidental. It was absolutely coincidental. We had another similar thing with the Pillaging podcast. We had this similar tagline, a podcast by Raiders fans for Raiders fans. And when we found out that they started using it, and I didn't even ask who did it first, I just took it out. I just quit doing it. But so I think there's just a lot of case where these things that happen organically, they just all kind of a lot of times happen at the same time. So look, Black Hole to me is going to be 105. I said in that segment, it's really 103 to 108. Well, that includes 107. What he had to say.
Absolutely.
So it's I think we're kind of might be splitting hairs a little bit there. But anyway, Dave, include you in on this. Does Steeler fan have a section of the stadium, or like you guys are? What are your fans are famous for? What, like the Renegade song that I know that gets played, or like?
I'm sure. I've never been. I never went to Three Rivers, and I haven't been to Himes Field. So that you might want to boot me off the show now.
No,
you were going to. No, but that's like the Exodus. My boys and I, Matthew and Miles, talk about that. Man, we want to go to Heinz Field and see a game. We need to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a crazy section. There's got to be.
There's got to be, I would think.
Yeah.
And I know that, and they're famous for the stick song Renegade.
Yeah,
like
big
that's
time.
like they play that song and like the place goes ballistic. Like that's their big, and I don't
Yeah.
even know how it came into be, but if you watch it, I mean, I'm sure you've heard it every time
Sure,
that
absolutely.
you watch a Steelers game and you hear that at home, you hear that Renegade kick in and the crowd just starts going
Goes nuts, yeah.
just starts going crazy. All right, Uncle Mosh, we got a couple more to get to, and of course we're going to hear from the man named Capo last week. David, if you call our show and you get your voicemail played 3 times, we call you Made Man. Well, then the next evolution of that is the Capo, right? It's the maid of the made men, and there's only one of those so far, and that's our buddy Aaron, the Q-Dog Raider.
Greetings, Murf, Uncle Mosh, Sonny, Lil Murf Nation. First off, this is a special week. Aaron Q-Dog Raider coming to you from the east side. Happy birthday to my brother Brian. He's a lifelong Steelers fan. So is my sister. Some of us even have Broncos fans in our family, but I digress. I've watched the Raiders play live at the LA Coliseum, Jerry World out in Texas on Thanksgiving Day, M&T Stadium out in Baltimore, but finally, I'm making my pilgrimage to the Oakland Alameda Coliseum to watch our beloved Raiders touch 10 toes down right out there in the black hole. I'm going to watch those hated, yes, Uncle Mosh, I hate them too, those mustard and black-clad bandwagoners, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, keep this in mind. We own the lifetime head-to-head against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but narrowly. Let's not go out there and pull a Battle of the Bay. All hands on deck. We have to win this game. Raider Nation, I remind you, please check out the YouTubes. There's a young fellow by the name of Josh Allen. He just won a very major award. He's probably going to be in the running for every major defensive category special award that they give to anybody that just brings it week in and week out. Josh Allen is his name. Check him out. That's all I got. I'll give you a post-game wrap-up. But anybody that wants to get down, Aaron Q-Dog Raiders coming out there to the west side. I'll be having my beloved Jack Tatum game jersey on. So if you see a big 6'5" brother walking around like he owns the town, that's me. Love black, they're silver. Woo.
All right, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider. He's one of the best, one of our favorite callers. And so, yeah, great stuff there from Aaron. So, man, have fun. We know you're going to represent Raider Nation well. And as we mentioned, we got a few of our listeners that are headed out there to go to the game. And how's that for timely, Mosh? You mentioned getting a Tatum jersey, and Q-Dog's going to be rocking his out there at the game. Real quick on Josh Allen, I don't know if you guys have seen this guy play. When MTSU played the University of Kentucky this year, I got a chance to see Josh Allen play. He's an outside linebacker / defensive end for the University of Kentucky. He's a baller. He's amazing. Now, everybody is wound up about Nick Bosa, who's Joey Bosa's kid brother, right, out of Ohio State, and they're projecting him to be the first-round pick. The Bosas have a dad that's kind of like LeVar Ball. Like he's one of those kind of dads. And the Raiders don't need that kind of an influence going on with the team right now. So I'm thinking if the Raiders end up with a number 1 pick, it might not be a bad idea to trade out of that pick and then pick somebody like Josh Allen from the University of Kentucky in like the 4 or 5 spot or whatever. We'll see a lot of dynamics going into the draft, but this Josh Allen, man, is an absolute stud. I'm with Q-Dog on that. And, he plays at SEC schedule at a University of Kentucky, but Kentucky not really known for their football in the SEC like Alabama or whatever. Sure. But, man, he's great. He's great. So I'm definitely with Q-Dog on that. All right, one more, Uncle Mosh. Let's hear from another made man and our buddy Ron in Ohio.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ron. Despite the outcome of the last couple weeks, man, I think if you squint really hard and watch those games, you can start to see some offensive and defensive systems starting to unfold there, which is nice. Starting to look like guys are playing within the system and establishing their rules a little better than before, where it seemed like everybody was out of position all the time. So, you can kind of get a look into the future there. We sprinkled some talent into there, and I think we're in good shape. And I think, the Steelers are kind of the masters of playing down to their competition. So hopefully we can sneak a win out. Don't be surprised if we sneak a win on the Steelers here. All right, guys. Have a good day. Bye.
I'm cutting over to you for a reaction shot, Dave. What do you think?
Playing down to their competition?
Yeah, how's that make you feel?
I guess they're going to have to play down this week.
Oh, that was good, Dave. Ooh. That was good. You feel better about this whole experience now?
Wow. Hang on a second, Dave. We got something for you.
There you go.
All right, so hey, Murf. So we have a hat winner.
Oh yes. Okay.
So we did a little contest, and we said, hey, send us your story that has to do, because we're in the holiday season. You know, we've got everything going on from. Holiday season for us and our family, it actually starts. It starts before Halloween.
Yes,
it really does.
Yeah.
And and it goes.
And David's still rocking Halloween
he's
right
still
now.
Doing Halloween, right? He's got his best, diners, drives, outfit on. But anyway, so we love holidays. We love holidays because holidays involve food, and we love food, and so we had this thing, and we said, let's do your best Raiders holiday story. And you'll win this 47 Bridgestone Raiders hat. And we got a winner.
We got a winner. We couldn't even wait till Christmas, Uncle Mosh, because the email that we got this week was fantastic. And this is one of the best emails we've ever gotten.
And it's from a caller that we've had before, Jack in Albany, Oregon. And I'm going to read you the whole thing. It's really quite funny. He says, Murf, Uncle Mosh, so I'm trying to write this because I really want a hat. And I'm trying to replenish my Raiders stuff that's been lost during the great divorce of 2017 by the she who shall remain nameless ex-wife Patriot fan, which is just as stupid to me because she's from England, not New England. She's from London, frickin' England. I had to explain to her why the Patriots were named the Patriots and why they had that little guy on the side of their helmet. And the reason we call it New England is because Old England sucked. Being to her,
no offense to our silver and black UK listeners.
Right. We're talking about 200 years ago, England.
Okay, yes,
it's better.
Yeah, that's true.
Being married to her made me until my own tuck rule, except that I called it the tuck and run. Anyway, I digress. Murf, Uncle Mosh, excuse me. The year was 1995. Never mind you, while I am from Indianapolis, I was actually raised in Las Vegas, so this Christmas I went home to Indiana to visit my family. It was December 24th, and we were downstairs watching football on Christmas Eve. Now, mind you, I'm a very Catholic Italian family, and my great-grandmother was from Sicily. He could probably be in our family.
Yeah, forget about it.
My grandmother grew up in New York, where Dave's from, and the Raiders were vying for a wild card. They were 8-7. It's the last game of the freaking season, and we're playing the Denver Jackasses, led by the horse-faced killer himself, John Elway. Now, to put things in perspective, understand that there was a house full of 8 women and only 3 men, one of which is a teenager, me. So they're wanting to yammer and talk over the football game anyway, and we're all getting pissed. And in the traditional sense, you can feel the tension and electricity going through the house. This is because it's Christmas time and everyone's excited. So it's also
time for another
because
shot.
Hang on.
Okay, take your there we go. Uncle Inhaler there you go. There's a little intermission here on the email, and go.
Okay, so it's now. Oh, wait a minute. Exhale. Okay, so
sound like you've done that before.
Yeah, right. It's probably why this cough is so bad. Anyway, Christmas time and everyone's excited. It's also because there's a football game on TV and it's close, and the guys are we're all going at it, right? We're yelling at the TV. Another thing that's happening is my grandmother's cats are hiding because they're nervous. My grandmother had this large gray cat that liked to bite people. Anyway, we're yelling at the football game, and the fact we're going to lose by 3 freaking points. Needless to say, the house is very loud at this point, and I hear my 2 aunts arguing about where Tampa Bay Buccaneers are. One said Orlando, the other one said Miami. And they both turn around to my grandfather, who's half deaf, and ask him, Lewis, where are the Buccaneers at? And he responds by yelling, under my bucking head. Needless to say.
Bucking ears and his bucking eyes. And under his bucking head. I get it. Yeah.
Anyway, needless to say, we got him a hearing aid after that. Hearing where you are, and, underneath his effing ears is a long cry from where the Buccaneers are. Anyway, Meanwhile, with all the yelling going on, people manage to miss the fact that there's a gray cat stalking one of the 17 nativity scenes that are set up all around the house because, remembering the reason behind Christmas is important to all of us Catholics. So now the game comes to a close, and the Raiders lose to the Broncos 31-28, ending the season 8-8. The gray cat decides he's going to pounce the nativity scene, kidnap the Virgin Mary, and rush for more yards than Napoleon Kaufman did the entire game.
Oh, my gosh.
To which the response of my stepfather is, who looks like a young Kevin Green, chasing down the cat with my mom in tow, screaming behind him, yelling the following, "Mom, Mom, the cat has Mary with the cherry." And at this point, the cat has now turned down the hall. The cat has now turned down the hall and is returning toward the nativity scene. He's accumulated more yards than Rocket Ishmael did the previous game we just watched. And my grandmother, spouting shades of Bill Cowher with a very angry face, very offended because, mind you, she's Italian and Catholic, started screaming at the top of her lungs at my mom, "Don't say that, Kim. This is God."
Just say GD.
This is a GD sacrilege, using the Lord's name in vain. The irony of that just cracks me up. The irony is not lost on the teenage me, and I start laughing my head off, to which I had multiple projectiles launched at me, all of which I caught which ultimately gave me more reception than James Jett and Tim Brown had that day. Regardless, out of nowhere, my Aunt Christy ends up sacking the cat with shades of Howie Long bleeding through. I can still watch the impact happening in my head in slow motion 23 years later, and the cat fumbles Mary with the cherry, which oddly looks like all the Raiders' running backs' last games at Kansas City. In the end, the Raiders may have lost the Christmas Eve and not gone to the playoffs, but I feel like my entire house did. The funniest thing is that big gray cat got the last laugh as he bit my aunt to draw blood, yet still didn't draw as many penalty yards as the Raiders did that day. Happy holidays to you all and your families. Be safe and joyous. Go Raiders.
That was brilliant.
That was pretty good.
The whole family needs counseling.
Get the applause there, Mosh?
Oh, my gosh. All right.
Well done.
Wow.
Well done. So that was Jack in Oregon. Is that correct? So Jack in Oregon, congratulations! You win the Raiders 47 Bridgestone golf hat. Shoot me an address, my man, and I will get that in the mail to you, Dave. What do you think about that story?
That's what I have no words.
I know, right?
I have no words.
Jack,
Mary with a cherry, huh? Never heard that one.
And Jack, I apologize for butchering that. I was having one of my cough attacks, and I was trying not to laugh because I knew that would bring up the
NyQuil's wearing off.
No.
You did good, Mosh. You did good. You made it through it. Like I said, your Uncle Mosh
was well done.
Your Uncle Mosh is playing injured. You did a good job. All right. Well, listen, guys, we are right at 2 hours, so we're gonna go ahead and we'll play some more of this stuff at the end. But we want to thank all of you that joined us on the Sea of Fans mailbag this week. Thank you for your calls and your emails.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
Hey. All right, Raider Nation, thank you for joining us here on another episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Check us out anywhere you can find a podcast. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Stitcher. We are on Google Play. We are anywhere you can find a podcast. You can find us, and especially look for us on the YouTubes. That is youtube.com/Murf's Fan Cave. That's MURFS Fan Cave. And please like and subscribe to us. This live stream thing has become our new favorite thing to do here with the show. show, and so we appreciate all the support that you give us there, and that includes the chat room. So thank you to the chat room for joining us. I can't scroll up, but some names I can see there. Done with the Internet, Sean Garcia, John Switzer, The Raider Critique, Pirate 1975, Mojo Cantrell, who else? Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Ron. Man, thank you guys so much for supporting what we do, and thank you for joining us on Raiders Fan Radio. But Uncle Mosh, really, most importantly for tonight's sake, thank you, David Northrup, for joining us here in the Fan Cave, my man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you for not bodily harming me.
No, man, you were great. Thank you for you play well with others, Dave.
Well, thanks. I thought I'd be
No, we don't want to pick on you too bad, right?
Yeah.
But so thank you for
absolutely.
joining us,
and I'll see you this Sunday.
Absolutely. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I'll be here. We're going to break that losing streak record for every time I come to visit and watch the Steelers
says
play.
You.
So says me.
So says you. So let's. So real quick before we get out of here, though, you got any final thoughts or predictions about the game coming up this week? I mean,
it'll be a good one.
Give us your analysis.
It'll be
good. You think it'll be a good game?
It'll be a good game. I think that it'll be a good game.
It's kind of with those teams, right, that you don't really see a lot of blowouts, right? Like when we went through the rundown, there's the occasional blowout, but for the most part, these teams play pretty close.
No, absolutely. It's, whoever plays most consistent ball is going to bring it home.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Well, good deal. Well, we appreciate. Thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Man.
Yeah,
it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
definitely. Good time having you. You want to, after Uncle Mosh drops the tagline, you want to play us out?
Sure.
Oh, that would rock. While I'm doing the tagline, you can get set up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we had fun tonight. It's the first time we've ever done that with an opposing fan, and it was a good choice by us as somebody that we're friends with and somebody that we care a lot about. And I have to go back in honor of Dave Northrup, being here with us. I got to quote a little tagline from our buddy Florida Raider. Basically, he said this, and he said this just for you. Shut your pie hole. So, but for Raiders fans, made men, there is no rest. And don't ever forget, what's done in Vegas started in Oakland. Good night, everybody.
Especially this talk about Carr being benched, being traded, this, that, but he's talking heads on TV. They wish they'd all just shut their pie holes. This guy